Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on KCBQ 1170 The Answer. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty, joined as always by Mr. Jason Hall with the Carson Chargers and Team Home Loans.
Killing me with Carson Chargers. It's not going to happen, Kyle.
It's happening, Jason.
It's not going to happen.
Accept. You're wearing the white flag already.
I'm wearing white, but it's not going to happen.
It's happening.
I still have faith.
I love it. And then before the breaks, we were talking with Jessica Macias, our Santee expert at Whissel Realty, Scott and Anika with Stage Your Home San Diego. If you ever have questions for anybody we've had on the show, you can always visit our website, whisselwednesdays.com, WHISSEL Wednesdays.com. You can ask questions on there, listen to past episodes of the show, or shoot us a text, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. So, Jason, you're the mortgage expert. What's new in the mortgage world?
So one of the new things is Fannie Mae has gone back to the old guideline when it comes to leaving or departing your primary residence. So if you're looking to purchase another home, the last few years we've had to do an appraisal on your current home to make sure you had 30% equity before we could count any rental income to offset your mortgage payment. So it made it very hard for a lot of homeowners to go purchase a new home without selling their current home. So Fannie Mae's just gone back to the old rule, which is, hey, we don't need an appraisal. We're not looking for equity on your current home. We just need to see that you have a renter. So if you have a rental contract, you have a deposit, we'll be able to count that rental income to offset your mortgage so you're able to purchase, assuming you have the down payment and you have some other options to get in there. But that's a huge win because you and I have talked about over the last, 4 or 5 years since this has gone in place, that a lot of people wanted to keep their current home but just weren't allowed to. They had to sell it in order to buy because of that guideline. They had the down payment. They didn't need to sell, but we couldn't qualify them with both mortgage payments because their income was, not enough to cover both houses, not including that rental income that you get to offset that.
Yeah, and that stems from what was referred to as the buy and bail. So The problem that was occurring and the reason that this rule was put in place is that somebody was living in a house. They didn't have any equity. Sometimes they were even upside down on the house. They didn't want to be there anymore. And they would go and buy a new house.
Sometimes across the street, Kyle.
Literally, across the street next door. They were sick of their house. They'd go buy the house next door for half the price because values took a dive, in 07, 8, 9, 10. They'd go buy the exact same house next door for $250, and they owed $500 on their house, and then they'd let their $500,000 house go and either short sale it or just let the house get foreclosed on. So Fannie Mae got very leery of buyers who were buying a home and owned other property because they were fearful that they might let that other property go.
Because they don't want to flood the market, because we all know it's about supply and demand. So if the more homes that are for sale, that's going to cause some possible price reductions, and that's what they were trying to stop, is having just a flood of people do the same thing, and that would just keep lowering down prices. So it actually, I think, worked in a good way, but there, it had its purpose. It's been served. The market's definitely recovered. We've been talking about that for, weeks and weeks. We started talking about that last year, how this was going to be the best year ever, or in many, many years, every quarter in the winter. You called that. We came back from October for one of the conferences you and I attended. So the market has rebounded. It's great that somebody can now keep that home, assuming they have a down payment, and we can get them into another home, then keep that rental property and continue to have, real estate as assets on their sheet.
Definitely. So what's going on with rates right now?
So rates are, right in the low fours. A lot of stuff's been going on in Greece and China that's caused rates to pop up and down. It sounds like they got some stuff figured out. We'll see how it ends up, because things like that can cause fear in people, and people will force their money or send their money here to the United States to where they feel a bit more secure with their funds, and they're going to put it in what's called mortgage bonds or our treasury bills. And as they bring money here, we're actually able to offer a lower rate to the consumers. And so it's all supply and demand as far as money moves. And so with some of those things being settled, we've seen money float back to Europe, China, and you see rates pop a little bit. But, there is concern that rates are going to rise. And I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, but if rates go up 1%, that really impacts, Kyle. How much are we talking about?
So I ran some numbers because I really wanted to lay this out. The median home price in San Diego, it's bouncing, right around that $500,000 number, plus or minus $25,000, depending on where you're at in the county.
Let's call it $500,000.
So let's call it $500,000. If you buy a $500,000 house right now and put 20% down, which you don't have to put 20% down. You can put zero down if you're VA or it's out in East County. There are some zero down options, but let's just assume a 20% down payment. So therefore, you're buying it for $5, putting $100 down, and you're getting a $400,000 loan. And let's assume the rate's 4.25% right now. It's
right
around
there. Sure.
Right around there. The monthly payment on that mortgage, principal and interest, is $19.67 a month. Now, if you take that same exact scenario, bump the interest rate up 1 full percent, go to 5.25, that payment jumps from $19.67 to $22.08.
So it's up, about $300.
It's about 13% is what it increases. But what that means is, let's say you were maxed out at that $500,000 purchase price. That change in payment actually drops what you can qualify for almost exactly $50,000. So if you're out there looking at homes right now and you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to wait, I want to see, what happens with prices and all that, and the interest rates do go up that 1%, like a lot of the experts are predicting, you might be costing yourself $50,000 in affordability. So you might be looking at a $500,000 house now, but if you wait a year and the rate goes up to $525,000, you're not a $500,000 buyer anymore. Right. You're a $450,000 buyer. And we've been talking about it, and we're all seeing it right now. Like Jessica talked about, values are going up. So now that same house that was $500,000, in a year from now, it's probably going to be worth closer to $525,000, $550,000. But now you can only afford $450,000. So that gap is getting wider and wider the longer that you wait right now. So, if you're out there, you're thinking about making a move, right now is the time. 4.25% rate's crazy low. When you and I started working together over 10 years ago, rates were 7, 8.
7-8%.
And then we had seconds at like 10, 11, 12%. So the opportunity right now at 4.25% is crazy. It's a great opportunity. Guys like Brian, our media manager, are, jumping in the game right now, buying a house. It's just an absolutely amazing time. You want to capitalize on that right now while you have a low rate and you know where the rate is. We all know values are going up right now. We know that interest rates are going to go up. So why wait? Why not jump on the opportunity right now? And if you own a property now, you might not have to sell that property like you used to. You might be able to keep that existing home, use that as a rental, and there's all kinds of fun tax benefits with owning rental property, and go buy that nicer, bigger home, or even maybe a smaller home. Maybe you have that big 2-story, 5,000 square foot home and you want to get a nice little single story, closer to the beach or something. The opportunity is just phenomenal for that right now.
Great time. And always going into the end of the summer here in fall, it's a great time to buy.
Yeah,
a lot of families start to slow down as far as the searching going. We're still seeing multiple offers on any good priced homes. But if you get out there and you start looking now, you're going to be in a great position, coming up here with the August, September, October run.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, you know what, I don't want to look right now. It's summer, it's really competitive. There are multiple offers, but that's where it's important to work with a good team like ours at Whissel Realty with Russell and Jessica Macias and the rest of the team. We get access to a lot of homes before they ever hit the market publicly. And that's where you can really get the inside track on these things. Because once they hit the market, especially, a $425,000 house in Santee, it's going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of people on. Brian, our media manager, he bought his home. He actually went to shoot the photos of the home and decided to buy it before it ever hit the market. And sabotaged all the photos and burned his camera so that there was no evidence to be found.
He literally went home like 2 minutes after, grabbed his lovely wife and said, hey, hon, you need to see this home. I think this is the one.
Right.
And they're now in escrow. And so congratulations, Brian.
And that's a sign of the times right now. So you got to work with a team who's going to get you access to things that other teams don't. And we talk on the show how our team was rated #1 by Wall Street Journal and all that. And it's great to talk about bragging. But in all honesty, it's not about that. It's about the fact we sell more homes than anybody, which means we have access to more homes before they hit the market than anybody else does, which is a huge advantage if you're thinking about buying a home. We've got one coming up in Santee, a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, $425,000 house right in the heart of Santee. That's a prime property, and I know when that hits the market, it's going to go super quick. So if you want to find out more info on that home or anything else that we talked about on the show today, give us a call, shoot us a text, 619-663-7355, 619-663-7355. Jessica, Jason, Scott, Anika, thank you so much for joining us here on Whissel Wednesdays. We will be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we